West Virginia becomes the first U.S. state to implement blockchain-based mobile voting. John McAfee reveals the price of one of his tweets. Russian hotels to accept cryptocurrency during the World Cup. AirAsia to launch a crypto, and ICOs continue to perform despite FUD and fluctuations in the market. We've got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades, and your FUD TV daily update starts now. Diving in here on the total market caps, we can see that we have worked our way back from a low of $243 billion yesterday, and we're up here in the 260s, trying to build some momentum here into the week, but obviously we have been waning, slowly working our way down further and further into this bear market. I know that a lot of people are very excited for what might happen with the alt in April. Obviously, we have caged excitement as we've seen so much sort of drag on the market, but we see here that there's just been a ton of bearishness and a ton of price sort of downward pressure on the price action here. Obviously, as we let you guys know, we did accumulate here in this range when Bitcoin was in its sort of 65 to 6,800 range. We picked up a little bit of Bitcoin, and we think it's a good price on that. So obviously, we're going to hope to see this work its way back and start to build momentum, hopefully the way it did throughout February when it bottomed out here on the 5th of February. And by the time we were midway through February, towards the end of the month, we had worked our way up to 500K, pretty much almost doubling our market cap. Obviously, we don't see any real signs of that. We see that we tried to make a little bit of a rally here between March the 18th up to the 22nd. But the reality is that it's been hard. It's been hard going here, building momentum, and it looks like this is by no means an end to the trend. We might be seeing a little bit of stabilization here in the sort of $250, $275 billion mark. So despite the fact that this is good news, the reality is that we have caged excitement as we do believe that there is potential for more slide. Hopping over to the biggest gainers in the top 100, we see at the top with a 21.66% gain is Storage. And that's pretty interesting because there's not really any big news that would lead to this. You see VeChain with a little bit of a gain, but of course, a lot of these gains are just corrections from the slide that we were enduring throughout the last few weeks. So not every one of these is going to be tied to some news. But again, we can see little gains here, nothing tremendous as we're hoping to build some momentum here throughout the week. But obviously, it's not looking so strong. We were hoping to see a little bit more of a spike here in the early week. And of course, we still, as we were saying, we still have a little bit of fiat USD waiting in Coinbase, seeing if this thing is going to continue to slide down to maybe a $6,000 Bitcoin or even below, as we believe that there is potential for increasingly lower slides, despite the fact that we keep hearing everybody saying, bull run incoming, bull run incoming. Yes, a bull run's coming at some point, but the truth is we don't know exactly when that is, and nothing in the market is lending itself to suggest that it's going to happen very, very soon. I'm accumulating. I'm suggesting that people who are in a position to do so accumulate. Obviously, we don't want to go too deep into this concept that there is some cartel suppressing the price of Bitcoin, as it's a kind of a sad theory, and it might be a very true theory, but we'll go into that on a very much so dedicated video about the cartel. In our lead news out of the day, we have word that West Virginia is going to be implementing voting on the blockchain. The program will be offered at first only to military voters, but eventually will be expanded to all 55 counties of West Virginia should it be successful. West Virginia says that they're trying to increase confidence in the voting system. We all know that we could use a little bit more of that, especially after the recent election and all the claims of tampering and interference. The reality is that voting should be easily accessed. It should be easy for all citizens to quickly participate and express their fundamental right of voting. This is not the case, unfortunately, with our current system, as people have to travel far distances, wait for long times. Often the accessibility of voting is almost non-existent in certain parts of the country, and voter suppression has proven to be an issue throughout history. If it's an undue burden to get to the voting booth, if it's an undue burden to end up waiting for hours and hours in line, or if Tuesday, let's say, for example, is a day that you work like most humans, the reality is that this might not be that easy for you to get to. So implementing a mobile-based, blockchain-secured voting solution that would essentially authenticate all votes, keep the system secure, and make this whole process available to a vastly wider amount of American citizens. West Virginia testing the system is phenomenal, and it could be totally revolutionary and bring in a real new era of mobile voting that is trustworthy. I'd be so very supportive of this, and I'm so excited to see this potentially revolutionize our voting system. And one of the world's favorite exchanges, Huobi, opens its doors in South Korea. That's right, Huobi's new South Korean subsidiary supports over 100 altcoins and trades on 208 markets, 77 Ethereum-based, 98 Bitcoin-based, and 33 USD Tether-based. Of note, they offer an investment protection fund where essentially they can refund you your lost money if circumstances beyond their control. Essentially, if the exchange is hacked, they have a fund ready to deploy refunds and to make their customers whole. This is a significant element of the exchange game that we expect to see carried out across many exchanges going forward. We know that Coinbase has some semblance of this. We also know that Binance talks a little bit about a relief fund. We need to know that these funds are in place if we want to have confidence that our funds are truly safe while trading cryptocurrency. Obviously, decentralized exchanges will really increase the security measures across the whole exchange world, but for now, we need measures like this, and it's no secret why the leading exchanges are leading if they're bringing in and implementing practices like this, an investor protection fund. This is just the first move that Huobi is trying to make as they intend to open up an office in the United States next. This is huge, and it's very important to sort of disrupt this Coinbase monopoly, as Coinbase has really got a firm hold on the American market when it comes to buying into cryptocurrency or exiting and liquidating your position. Coinbase really holds all the chips there, and that's just not right. Monopolies are not good for the market. They're horrible for the market, and they're bad for investor confidence. If, say, something like a Coinbase hack was to happen, it would devastate this market. For that reason, we can't be so reliant on central players, and this is great to see more diversity and more options coming into the exchange game. And yes, while we all knew it was true, McAfee has officially published his ICO promotion agency, or whatever the hell he's calling it. McAfee is selling his tweets to the highest bidder. He literally says for $105,000, he will tweet about your ICO, and he literally goes down and shows all the pumps he's created. This is the least trustworthy man in crypto. He creates more FUD, more confusion, more misunderstanding, and creates more actual real losses for investors than anyone else. My biggest loss to date was on chasing a McAfee Verge pump. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'll admit it. To be honest, I just don't know what to believe with McAfee. And the truth is there's so much confusion, so much uncertainty in the cryptocurrency market already that to have someone who's literally selling their platform like McAfee is, and he's literally just choosing to represent the next ICO that pays him, this is a problem. Essentially, he has an official ICO promotion agency. So as you can see on March 30th, he publishes a link to the McAfeeCryptoTeam.com. Once you're on his website, where he explains that he'll shill your ICO for $105,000 and that's a deal because it's only 13 cents to reach each one of his 800,000 Twitter followers. Obviously, that's totally messed up. You never reach all of the Twitter followers with a tweet. No tweet reaches all Twitter followers, which is why Twitter is largely considered a less successful social network at creating ad revenue, because those ads don't work. They just don't work. That's why Twitter hasn't been able to make money, and it's considered like the failed unicorn of all the social media unicorns. Regardless, here's another problem. He does a poll here where they have 54,000 votes. 54,000 votes. Now, I'm not saying that 54,000 votes is not statistically significant, but then what they say is, of those 54,000 votes, right, that answered a series of polls, they're saying that those percentages then extrapolated across his whole follower base, right? So all of his followers times the percentages that came out of this poll are the reality. So they're saying that 518,000 have more than $3,000 already invested in crypto, 224,000 have over $20,000 invested. And this last group represents, at minimum, $4.48 billion in crypto investments. What in the world are you talking about, McAfee? That is absurd math. I get it, you did this poll and you multiply that percentage times your followers, but that is not a fair example, and you just can't verify any of this. The reality is that you've not taken any of these assets under management. This statistical poll could have been manipulated. You've literally just multiplied whoever are the hardcore Twitter people who are actually going and responding times a bunch of noobs that might have followed you because they don't know anything better, and they certainly don't actually conform to these statistics. The whole stat page is absurd. It's so misleading, and the fact that this even exists as a website where he'll show your ICO means that this man should never be taken seriously ever. The cost per investor reached is the least costly of any marketing avenue in the crypto world. Considering his own followers, the cost per investor reached is 13 cents. Considering his reach beyond his own followers, the cost per investor reach is frequently less than a penny. This is orders of magnitude less than any other approach. When you sell your opinion like a paid shill like this, people stop paying attention. So this is a diminishing return investment. None of McAfee's future tweets are going to return as good of investment as the previous tweets because he's selling and giving away his credibility. The point is, stop listening to him. Stop listening to McAfee. He doesn't care about you at all. He doesn't care about you. And Russian hotels throughout the 2018 World Cup will be accepting cryptocurrency as payments. So apparently the city of Kaliningrad, which is one of the cities where the World Cup is going to be played, will be accepting cryptocurrency at all of its hotels, and they're doing this through a payment processor named FreeCasa. It's really amazing. As you can see, the international implications of cryptocurrency are very much so at play here. You have people coming from all over, different currencies, different issues, and the fact that they could pay there with their crypto without no fuss, no transfer fees, no processing fees, no foreign money conversion fees. These are the benefits of cryptocurrency, and so it's no surprise that it's starting to appear at international events like the World Cup. This comes as Russia is struggling to try to figure out how to regulate cryptocurrencies, switching them from being currencies to now being considered financial assets. Regardless, we are seeing adoption in its many various forms across the world. International airline AirAsia hopes to introduce their own cryptocurrency in the coming months. As a popular budget airline, AirAsia is hoping to introduce a coin called Bitcoin. Essentially, the airline will turn their frequent flyer points into Bitcoin and reward them to their travelers as essentially loyalty points. Following its launch, you'll be able to use Bitcoin to buy any kind of service or goods from the airline, including seat upgrades or in-flight services. AirAsia now joins Singapore Airlines, testing a proof of concept in this cryptocurrency universe. Regardless, again, we love hearing these stories as big brands introduce familiar services that help run our modern world and transfer them over to a blockchain-based, crypto-friendly environment that allows for this entire market to grow. We're not concerned with speculation anymore. We're concerned with adoption and real-world use cases, and so stories like this will always be at the top of our news desk. And finally, despite all the bans and all of the FUD, ICOs have continued to perform amazingly throughout 2018. The billions of dollars raised in crowdfunding in the last few months, with over $1 billion raised each month since December, has actually come from a nice spread of countries, with about $788 million coming from projects in the United States, $265 million from China, $249 million from Lithuania, and Switzerland, Europe's crowd sale heartland, is fourth with $249 million. Wait, Lithuania? This is really interesting, as ICOs from last year, around 60% of them have already failed or are on their process of really just dying. This is because ICOs don't raise enough capital to accomplish their goals at the beginning. And that might explain why ICOs have really spiraled upwards in their valuations and the amount of money that they're bringing in. It's definitely an interesting part of the industry that we have to keep our eyes on, as ICOs really are the backbone of both innovation and expansion of the cryptocurrency industry, but it's also the sort of front lines of the battleground of legislation. And so seeing that it's extremely healthy with investment, even throughout this bear market trend, is exciting, and it should be invigorating for investors in the space that are wondering what the future holds. There is more money, more development, more technology, more genius in this current industry than any other in the entire world at the moment, and that's because of this incredible amount of funding and excitement that has come into this industry and allowed for these teams to expand explosively. Well, that's it, guys. We hope you enjoyed today's FUD TV Daily Update. If you did, don't be afraid to smash that like and comment below. Let us know what you thought about our coverage today. If you're an investor or enthusiast in the space, subscribing to our channel is not a bad idea, as we do cryptocurrency videos each and every day on this channel. I'm Elio Trades. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today on FUD TV. If you like the shirt and you want to pick up one for yourself, don't be afraid to head over to fudclothing.com, where you can get your very own. I'm Elio Trades. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today on FUD TV, and we'll catch you very soon on the next episode.